Good morning. Wednesday, June 16th. Could be a very loud "what's that smell?" Hey, what's that smell? 6 a.m. or somewhere close to, as we're here by the Oakland airport once again at El Torritos. Looks like they're doing some construction stuff here at the marina, or they're trying to blockade some of the unhoused from coming in the parking lots. They did it to this parking lot over there, and the infamous point over here, and it looks like they cleared out a lot of the campers and trailers and stuff, and that's unfortunate. Anyway, the interconnectedness of all things, it's a reality. A lot of people aren't doing as well as they could be, but then there's a lot of people that are relatively unaffected by the recession. Over the last 2 years, which goes back 40 years, there's a lot of people that have gone on to become billionaires, CEO wages and all that stuff, all the time talking about it, get their wages up, and yet we've been stagnant for all that time. But yeah, during the pandemic, a lot of people made out like bandits. So anyway, I'm gonna stick to the script today, try to keep from those squirrel moments. Squirrel. I hope everybody's doing well. Tony Jardine had a surgery yesterday, haven't checked up on her yet. Didn't get a chance to visit her in the week ahead of her surgery situation, so I hope she's doing well. Always got to pray for our folks that are potentially in there with cancer and all that stuff. It affects us all. I'm just gonna sit here on my bike today. So somebody was complaining about the January 6 hearings being one-sided, and I'm not gonna go off on that, but what's the other side? But people, yeah, what's the other side? Anyway, that's enough of that. Today I want to talk about wimps and trolls, because there's a lot of wimps out there. We have trolls that even I get trolls for what I try to have positive things to say. I know some of it could be controversial, but anyway, having a troll is no fun. So I have one last thing to say about guns. Hopefully we can stop the gun violence. It does take an interconnected effort to stop these killings. It's not just one thing. It's not just red flags. So red flag laws versus restricted gun access. Red flag laws require people, evaluate people, red flag people, and say if there's a problem and stuff like that. And that's a judgment decision, even by professional standards. And if you miss something, that person can still get out and do harm to other people and acquire a firearm in a heartbeat in many states. So it kind of doesn't know who'd be responsible for these red flag laws. If somebody gets through, it should have been red flag, and if you didn't speak up, are you culpable? Are you complicit? Yeah, how is that going to work? I think that with restricted access, licensing, regulation, training, all that stuff is the way to go. A lot of responsible gun owners out there that are a little bit quiet. Again, it's the vocal minority speaking up and not the other way around. So giving guns to teachers, I already talked about good guys with guns.
A bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. That's science.
Stopping bad guys with guns.
That's inaccurate.
It's less than 3%.
About 1 out of every 5 active shooter events gets stopped by a potential victim at the scene.
In that vein,
And most of those victims are unarmed.
And the training that would require for teachers, I mean, some of our police officers in the United States are not trained as well as they should be. And you would expect our teachers to be trained in active shooter situations when they're supposed to be teaching kids. So that quite doesn't work. Doors, less doors, hardened doors, more security. Do you want your child going to prison, or do you want them going to an environment where they can learn? Not only that, if you shut these, one access in, one access out, well, there's got to be safety doors, fire laws and stuff. But at the same time, the place becomes a shooting gallery. And back to the teachers with guns things, that they become the primary target for anyone that does get in. A lot of stuff there. Again, if somebody that should have been red flag gets past all the red flags and somehow wants to go and do harm to a lot of people, but they can't get a gun, how many people get killed that day? 0, 0, 0, 0. So think about that, if you will. Anyway, that's it for guns.
You believe that liberal claptrap?
I'm one of the co-authors of the report.
On to trolls. Trolls live under bridges, and trolls live on the internet. One squirrel moment, the moon was setting, it's gone now, and the sun was rising. Beautiful morning. The wildlife on the marsh was very, very active, and there's no trolls on the bay, not even under the bridge. Actually, well, no, there's not. The people on the Bay Trail are nice. They're like your hello neighbors, and it's a lot of fun. I try to get to know a few of them that are good morning kind of people. It's a lot of fun. So, internet trolls. I got some crap the other day because I talked about the United States being a democracy, and I was trolled on that, and somebody tried to tell me that we are, what are we? We are a federal republic. Now, that's not entirely true. The country of Argentina states that while often categorized as a democracy, the United States is more accurately defined as a constitutional federal republic. Now they say more accurately defined. That's a statement that's basically based on weasel words. So it's not expressly defined as a constitutional federal republic, but that's part of the Constitution. It's checks and balances. It's a little bit of both. So in reality, we are a democratic republic because we have the states, the 50 states, which are federal. We have voting, which is democratic. We elect our representatives, which is a democratic process. And so it's not expressly defined anywhere that we are any one specific thing. We are a mixture, just like the checks and balances of capitalism versus socialism versus federalism and all this other stuff. It takes a balanced approach. Again, it's the interconnectedness of all things. Anyway, I just wanted to thank the troll for giving me something to talk about because, you know, just gotta have something to talk about, right? Trolls, now wimps. Wimps. We have so many wimps representing our country. People that go back on their word. People that are beholden to other people and kiss people's butts. And it's funny. It's like scolding your father and then going back and go get him another beer or something. I don't know. But when you have somebody that publicly denounces the actions of one person,
all I can say is count me out. Enough is enough.
One day, and then conveniently dismisses those actions the next day. I didn't want to talk about Kevin McCarthy, but man, what a wimp. Chicken shit down in the bottom of the Capitol, crying for his life to one certain individual, and then cussing him out, and then now he's dismissing those thoughts and enabling somebody to talk about a bunch of lies and things like that. So anyway, I'm just, it's the veil. So we have the wimps that promote the lies and keep them going, but the whole thing is the veil. And the veil is basically the 10% that are in power. It's probably less than 10%, but you know, 70% of people would be better off if 10% of the people didn't have all the wealth and stuff. It's been tough to see the last 40 years and the way it's gone as people get richer and richer. But a lot of it is it's us. It's our own fault. And I talk about my generation being the end of the baby boom myself. You know, we got all so hung up on peace, love, and rock and roll and all the other stuff that we forgot about, you know, the way that people, the greedy people, just would jump ahead and leave other people behind. Sounds like UPS is getting fired up here as we're really right on top of the airport today. I don't know if you could see back there, but the planes look pretty big to me from here. So the veil, you know, the misinformation, the misdirection, the lies, everything, that all feeds into the extreme thing, and that plays into their own hands because 10% of the population on their own can't win elections, but they can misinform enough people. And again, there it goes. It kind of reminds me of back when they used to have boat drags out there on San Leandro Bay. And we lived, you know, maybe 5 miles away or something. And man, when those drag boats would hit the throttle, you could hear it pretty loud and clear. So listening to these jets take off, it kind of brings back those memories. Anyway, that's squirrel moment number 3, I think, if you're counting at home. But yeah, the veil. So you got 10% rule the country, you got 20% coattailing, and then you take the other 70% of the country and you split them in half, and there you end up with a false majority that can do things that are, you know, dictatorial. It seems like the world is enamored with dictators these days. You know, you kind of think about the father figures and all this other stuff, but I kind of see it more like a Jim Jones or Reverend Sun Myung Moon, and how they fool you or they take advantage of you so that they can control you and keep you in check in the way that they want to. That's another, that one's a FedEx. So UPS and FedEx, and then there's a Southwest right behind it. Squirrel moment number 4. Just try to think for ourselves. It's gotta be diligent in your research. Even if you agree with somebody, look at the other side and try to come up with your own conclusions. The bottom line is just to, you know, Ellen says, be kind, and if you just eliminate, if we could eliminate some of the greed, share the wealth. You know, the interconnectedness of all things brings about, you know, all the wealthy people, they put themselves behind gates and they turn their head on the unhoused, they turn their head on this stuff. But the more and more they have, the less and less the bottom has. And when the people on the bottom have less, they end up desperate. I mean, they can't find houses, they can't find food. And now with prices so high, can you imagine being homeless, jobless, not having money to buy food? It makes people desperate, so crime goes up. So you complain about crime when you're a millionaire, and yet you don't want to provide jobs that will keep people from being unhoused. You don't want to provide the jobs and the wages that it's an oxymoron, really, because, you know, some of the wealthiest people in the world complain about immigration and illegal immigration and all that stuff, but for hundreds of years the United States has operated on migrant workers because Americans wouldn't work for those cheap wages. So it's incredible. Anyway, that's a food for thought. Get it? Food for thought on this Wednesday. What's that smell? I'd like to thank all the people that contribute on the comments and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun to get the feedback and point us in the right direction. Hopefully this gets through to some people who are on the fence or extreme. I'm right down the middle, I guess. Yeah, check out my websites. I have the ponomediacompany.com, where you can get some music, see some blogs, links to my YouTube craziness and videos. And then I have the davidallenborges.com/public_HTML, which is kind of my newest endeavor, which has more blogs, more like this, some more photos, and trying to create a community there. So anyway, there goes Southwest. And on that note, I'm gonna fly to work. You guys have a great day. Thanks for joining me on this beautiful June 16th morning. And we have a celestial birthday today for Ariana, who we lost a few years ago. A lot of people, it's a part of life, unfortunately. So God bless everybody. Be safe. Leave a comment, say hey, and let me know how you're doing, and I'll check in with you. I appreciate it. And that's it for What's That Smell? 6 a.m. or somewhere around 6 a.m. I'm going to get on my bike and ride. I do love you all unconditionally. If you want to have great conversations without having to beat each other up or shoot each other, send me an email, get on my Instagram, check out my YouTube. I mean, I revamped my musical website. It's looking better. I've been improving all that. So yeah, check out the PhotoMediaCompany.com website, and maybe, you know, buy some of that meditational music I sleep with every night. I haven't had a cold in over 10 years. One of my latest ones took me 5 years to write, called The Fifth Symphonic Aegis. And Aegis is a term that defines shield. So it's designed for your immune protection and shields you. So anyway, that's it. I am getting on my bike and riding. Hey, Jean Marie, you're live today. Hi, Mama.
That's Kenny.
Well, say hi to your sister, Kenny. It's not cold, Mom. Maybe there it is, but it was 34 yesterday. It's 50-something today, and I'm fine. And again, somebody that's going to the bank, they're not going to do martial arts today because it's closed. Anyway,